welcome back. I'm Tedward, and tonight we've got the 2016 Bentley Mulsanne Speed. This car is absolutely gorgeous, and it's powerful with its 6 3/4 liter twin turbo V8 making 530 horsepower and 811 pound-feet of torque. Inside, we've got this incredible two-tone interior, and it's as luxurious inside as it is understated outside. So let's get this thing started. We can feel that air suspension rising up ever so gently. Let's take a walk around. I do love the lights on this thing. These headlights are absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, the exterior is slightly understated, so you know when it goes by it's something special, but it doesn't exactly jump out at you as ostentatious. Once you're inside, though, you understand how exciting it is. It idles a little like a powerboat, and its engine only revs out to 4,500 RPM. It's all low-end grunt. Let this warm up a little bit, but it's incredible how it just gets up to speed with almost no throttle. It requires such little effort to do its job. This engine is all about torque, and it feels glorious under your right foot, even in comfort mode. There's a lot of coasting involved since this is such a heavy car. At 6,000 pounds, you kind of get to your speed and release the throttle, and if there's any hint of a downhill, it'll take care of the rest as long as you're under reasonable speeds. We've got someone who has no headlights on. Oh, he's just turning. All right. That doesn't look great. Beautiful gauges illuminated at night are fantastic to look at. We've got our water temp, which has come up, our clock, and our fuel gauge. It's nice to have some fuel in this thing because it drinks a lot. These high beams are excellent on these rural roads, although we do have some street lights. We'll see how it does over the railroad tracks. What I love about the Bentley is that you can still feel the road. It doesn't just completely insulate and mute you. That can be frightening, and it sounds like it's what you want. It sounds like you would want to be completely insulated and muted. But as a driver, that's actually somewhat frightening because then you don't really understand what's going on the road. This mixes that perfectly. I think anyone who drives a Rolls-Royce Phantom knows what I'm talking about when it seems a little eerie that you can't feel exactly what you'd want. The Bentley is a driver's car. Any normal car would probably be lugging the engine, accelerating, or adding any throttle at 1,400 RPM, but not the Mulsanne Speed. It's ready to go. Put it in sport mode. A little bit of tire noise. to speed. It's kind of fun to play with the suspension mid-corner. Air suspension allows for some give. There's definitely some body roll, which I think is just a factor of being so heavy, but it does manage to keep it in check. And it's pretty wild the way it puts this power down. You'd think it would be frightening with 811 pound-feet of torque. That's no joke. If you drive an SL65 AMG Black Series, you'd understand that big torque to the rear wheels can make for some pretty slidey adventures. And this, being on a 265 section rear tire, should be doing that, but it really does keep it in check, and it's not a frightening thing. Handing this much torque to somebody seems like a big mistake, but it's really not. Handles it quite nicely. Natural cruising speed, I think, is somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 miles an hour. You gotta be a little cautious out here. What's beautiful though is it absolutely has the brakes to back up its brawn. You can have all the power in the world, but it doesn't feel good if you can't bring it back to a stop. Question if you're going to make the light. Even some powerful cars like my E92 M3, that's a reasonably powerful car that I owned, requires a lot of revs. It's an 8,000 RPM redline. What's gorgeous about this is it just is able to tap into that low end torque and put down the grunt no matter what the scenario. This 8-speed ZF, it's able to find the right gear, but what you notice is it doesn't just rev it out, it actually puts you right where you need to be for the torque. And luckily, we've got the brakes to bring us back down. While it did have a $400,000 price tag, you can find them for under $175,000 now for the pre-facelift models, probably under $200,000 for the facelift models, used of course. But what's beautiful about these is their maintenance, aside from the potential goings-on of electronics and air suspension, but from an engine mechanicals perspective, they're pretty simple. They just run. You're certainly going to want to have a guy who knows these cars inside and out if you're going to own one, but this is not to be afraid. You don't want to be afraid of this car. This is something you'd actually want to own, something you'd actually be able to drive every day, as long as you've got the income to deal with the upfront costs, the insurance, and of course the fuel. But then again, Everyone's driving big, heavy SUVs these days. So stomaching 16 miles per gallon in your Mulsanne Speed doesn't sound so outrageous in this world. The roads are beat up, and despite having some fairly low-profile tires, we're hanging in there just fine. I hope you enjoyed the posh sounds of the Bentley Mulsanne Speed. I'm going to go park it up and think about how lovely it would be to own one of these someday. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive. I'll see you in the next one.